Thank you. I was going to leave out my original opening line about my favorite Chinese proverb, which is, keep a green bough in your heart and the singing bird will come. Until I walked up to the reception desk announcing I was the talent and saw this, I'm like, no, I'm saying it. Now, not to mix metaphors too much, but a disco ball, if I'm lucky and memory serves, I'm getting up in years, if a disco ball appears in my story, I'm just going to put it down here so it won't forget to pop in. Okay. I personally think I'm a bit of a mess, but I am a woman of faith. I'm definitely a woman of hope. I was truly a woman of charity until, I don't know, not so long ago, and now it's work sometimes to be as charitable as I would like to be towards some people. But I'm working at it. I also am a Matthew 7:7 kind of girl. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. 40 years ago, I was neither sober nor solvent. Now I am both. I owe a lot of that to 12 steps, the 11th of which is sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood God, asking only for knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry that out. I have had much better luck with the 12 steps than with either the 5 precepts or the 10 commandments, which you will soon learn. But by the time I was 10 years old, some really, really terrible things had happened in my family. I'm just going to tell you one of them, probably just one. My mother's brother, my Uncle Frankie, was shot down in World War II in friendly fire. That's not the worst thing that happened, but come on, that's enough to give you the idea. By the time I was 10 years old, when I was 10 years old, I was struck with faith. Now, I must have been, I don't know, maybe wondering about, is God good? Is God powerful? I learned later you can't have it both ways. He's either all good or he's all powerful. Done deal for me. That's fine with me. He's all good. So there I was, standing on a beautiful spring day, and I just got faith. It was given to me. It hasn't gone anywhere since. I'm not saying it hasn't changed a little bit, but I am here, I am good. Okay, next question was, now what? I'm only 10, okay? That's where I'm going to start with the image of the disco ball now. My view of the truth is a huge disco ball, ever rotating, hundreds of mirror tiles, lights coming at it from all different directions, and then just the slight movement of your head can change things. When the light hits a mirror tile, that's truth. That may be the only truth you see that day, whatever it is. I don't care if it's a refrigerator magnet or a bumper sticker or the Torah or the Bible or the sutras or the Vedanta. I don't care. If it's true, write it down. That's what I say. That's my advice. I won't give any more advice. But I was asking, now what? I know he's there and I know he's good. What am I supposed to do? Well, I got my answer on a TV show. Loretta Young, she said, work as if everything depended on you and pray as if everything depended on God. Well, that sounded pretty good to me. So I thought, but you better write that down. So I started writing a journal when I was about 12 or 13 years old. I've written every day of my life since then. I have a whole basement full of loose leaf binders. Oh, my poor son. But anyway, I went all through school to the Sisters of Loretta. I don't know if you know about them and the chapel in Santa Fe and the Deus Providebit, God will provide, and they were all their mother house down in Whiskey Country. I must say that, I guess, since the sponsor, even though I'm sober, was right a stone's throw away from Thomas Merton in Gethsemane, so they had us reading Merton in high school. I'm way older than I look. And then after that, I went to college in St. Louis. So I had a lot of good luck with Merton and the Sisters of Loretta and stories about that staircase and all kinds of things. Barely got into college, but they let me in. So I really loved college, but that disco ball got a lot bigger. It started turning a lot faster, and there were a lot more lights coming at it from all different directions. There was this girl named Mary. She flunked out of Mizzou, so she had to come to Webster to get her grades back up. She was very cosmopolitan. She introduced me to Dorothy Parker and a book called The Prophet, which I thought was just the most beautiful thing I'd ever read. Now, it came out in 1923, but I could not find one nun who'd ever heard of it. But that didn't keep those lights from turning on for me. And then there was that fraternity party at Washington University that I went to. And this young Jewish man started talking about all these horrible things that Catholics did. I'm like, well, we did not. We would never do that. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. I just had to. All right, so adulthood arrived, and things unfolded in this order. I became a school teacher. I became a wife. I became a non-virgin. Finally, I became a mom. And I became a divorcee. Now, I love the church, and I love the sacraments, and I love the community, but now I'm divorced. So I was kind of getting to the point where I was afraid my religion might cost me my faith. Because I knew, I'm sorry, I was 30, I still had it going on. I knew I probably wasn't going to get married again, which I did. Ultimately. But, I am not going to sin on Friday night, go to confession on Saturday, go to communion on Sunday, and then repeat the whole cycle the next week. I'm just not going to do it. I knew what I was capable of, what I was not capable of, so I just had to leave the church. So then I started, looking at that disco ball again to see what else might be flashing around. I mean, yoga and Tai Chi and Enneagram, and I'm getting a little bit out of order, but, come on, I'm old. Lots and lots of interesting things. And I found a lot of good in a lot of things. But, I do have to admit to limitations when it comes to Buddhism, for instance. I mean, now I'm no intoxicants, no sex. I don't lie. I don't steal. But I murdered a wasp in my kitchen last week, and I will do it again. So I go as far as I can go with whatever I go with. And that ball just keeps on turning, those lights just keep on flashing. And I've never doubted the faith that came to me that day when I think I as a child, I really needed it. And I have never doubted that I had to pray as if everything depended on God and work as if everything depended on me. I do want to leave you with a little bit of a riddle. I'm sure I've left out about half of what I was going to say, but see me in the lobby. You can recognize me. I'm the talent. I'm wearing green, okay? So I matched the book, and I'm carrying a disco ball. All right. So there's a story. We hear a lot of times in spiritual circles, if you're feeling far away from God, who moved? That's a good one. But now I have a story for you from the Hasidic tradition, the Baal Shem Tov. He tells a story about a man who is, I can't stoop down because of the mic, but there's a toddler coming toward him, and he stoops way, way, way down. He puts his arms out. And as the toddler takes, you know how they are, that halting step toward him, he just moves back a little. And the toddler takes another step toward him, and he moves back a little. And the toddler waddles over, and he moves back a little. The child's goal is to reach the Father. The Father's goal is to teach the child to walk. Thank you.